Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clay, and I'm the Bucks believer. Today we are going to be getting Milwaukee Bucks playoff basketball, and I simply cannot wait. This postseason, there is one member of the Milwaukee Bucks organization that is going to be under more intense scrutiny than just about anyone else, and that one man is head coach Mike Budenholzer. A couple weeks ago, reporters Sam Amick and Shams Charania of The Athletic reported that unless the Bucks made a deep playoff run this year, they would likely be moving on from Budenholzer. So today, I'm going to be laying out what Budenholzer can do to save his job and just how far into the postseason the Bucks need to advance in order for Coach Bud to retain his role. If the Bucks lose to the Miami Heat in the upcoming first round of the playoffs, I think it's pretty safe to say that Budenholzer is done. He cannot afford to underperform for the second consecutive season against the same exact team, and that is especially true when that team in the Heat was so vastly inferior to the Bucks in each of the past two regular seasons. If Milwaukee can't get past Miami this year, I think it's a pretty safe bet that Coach Bud will be losing his job. If the Bucks lose in the second round to the Brooklyn Nets, that's where it really starts to get interesting, and I'll spend quite a bit more time talking about that than I did talking about if the Bucks lost to the Heat. In this situation, I think it really depends on what some of the context is. If the Bucks lose a really close series to the Nets where it goes to either 6 games and a lot of the losses are close, or the full distance and the Bucks lose in 7 games, and Bud shows improvement in his playoff coaching, I think that there's a really good chance that he could hang on to his job. In order for that to happen, the Bucks are going to have to beat a Miami Heat team in the first round that many fans really fear, and in the second round, if they can really push Brooklyn to the brink, I think that's probably enough for Bud to keep his job. On the other hand, if the Bucks lose in 5 games or less, or they lose in 6 games and it's not particularly close, well, in that case, I think it's probably going to be curtains for Coach Bud, and he will be looking for a new head coaching job at the conclusion of this season. If the Bucks lose to the Philadelphia 76ers, their likely third round matchup, if they are going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think that Bud is probably safe. If the Bucks lose to the Sixers, that means that they have already beaten the Miami Heat and Brooklyn Nets, and that would be an excellent start to the playoffs, and it would prove that Milwaukee is capable of knocking off good teams in the postseason. Now, obviously, losing to the Sixers is not the preferred ending to the season for Milwaukee, especially if they get by Brooklyn, who is widely regarded as the favorite to win the East. It would be a bit disappointing if they lost to Philly in the very next round. I think that if the Bucks lose in 5 games or less, it gets a lot more interesting when we talk about Budenholzer, and in that case, I think he probably would get fired. However, if the Bucks win or lose a close series, well, then Bud probably gets at least one more year at the helm of this Bucks team. If the Bucks reach the finals, I don't really think it matters whether they win or if they lose. The criteria in Shams and Sam's report was that the Bucks needed to make a deep playoff run, and if an NBA Finals run doesn't qualify for that, I'm not real sure what does. So if the Bucks do reach the finals and win the Eastern Conference this year, then Bud should probably keep his job. In summary, I think that one great way to just kind of get this said in one sentence is to say that Bud has to prove that the Bucks are very close to winning a championship in order to retain his job. If the Bucks lose early in the playoffs or lose in an unconvincing fashion, Milwaukee will probably move on from Coach Bud after 3 seasons where he showed a lot of regular season promise but could never carry that over to the playoffs. However, if they prove that they're capable of beating good teams in the postseason and either lose in a close series or end up winning it all, then I think that there's probably a good chance that Bud is around for another year of Bucks basketball. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, especially if you are a fellow Bucks believer. This is the place for you. Like I said, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the Bud situation. I really want to know what you guys think. Do you think that the Bucks should hang on to Coach Bud, or should they move on from him? I think that I've covered everything that I wanted to cover, so that's going to be it for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all again very soon.